Guys, let's talk about the most wanted, or was the most wanted player of all time, a player known as Elias Mokwana. Now recently Wafetu, Elias Mokwana has opened up on him, wanting to play for Kaizer Chiefs. In a statement, this is what he had to say when he was asked, in terms of links. You remember what happened, Musin. I will get more into that later on, but for now let's just listen to what this guy had to say. So he says, Ish, this one is going to put me in trouble. To tell you the truth, my father was an Orlando Pirates fan and I was a Chiefs fan. Now you can see when they said Chiefs wanted me, I was happy. Unfortunately, it never happened, but the dream is still there. In the future, I might go. Umfana Elias Mokwana. Now, for me, this is interesting, Buffet too. Obviously, we're going to touch on everything else and then we talk about most of the things that happened. And yeah, let's look at, Elias Mokwana. Who is Elias Mokwana from the start, at the beginning? So if we look at Elias Mokwana, Buffet too, he's currently 25. Majo Kichimalapana Esperance, Tunisia, which is the club that signed him. And I have some surprising news for you. Mangzokjela, I know most of you won't believe me, but it's something that is there. So Mfana is 25 currently. He's playing for Esperanza. He was playing for Mokwana United, and then obviously they open talks. I think he just was interested in signing Elias Mokwana, even with Nabi around, because I think around the time that we wanted him the most was when Nazruddin Nabi arrived in the club. Kumbule, he had a sort of a delay before Sofia, so we wanted to sign Elias Mokwana, during around that time, and then there was other teams obviously interested in this player because he was a great player. He's a right winger who can also play as left winger. He has proven, even now he's proving his worth. I think the game that we played last, he has about an assist or two. He has two assists and about 4 goals, somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of my stats. So definitely he was a player that we bargained for. Now, to be honest with you, Bafetu, it's interesting because when we went to sign Elias Mokwana, we went there with an offer about 12 million, and they wanted, Mokwana United wanted about 15 million from Kaizer Chiefs, because Kaizer Chiefs was interested. They wanted about 15 million, and then when we got there for about, with an offer around 12 million, and then Esperance Tunisia signed the player for 7 million, just 7 million. 7 meter they signed Elias Mokwana. And then I think later on, when a breach of contract, there was a lot of scandals that were happening. I did not want to even entertain, because obviously I felt bad, because Umchita, even now he's though claiming that his place or his mind or heart is there at Naturena, which I have a question for you at the end of the video. I hope you can answer for yourselves. He says he's interested, he's still interested in playing for Kaizer Chiefs. He grew up supporting Kaizer Chiefs, which we know a lot of players, they always say they grew up watching and supporting Kaizer Chiefs. And then looking at him now, he decided, I'm not going to join Kaizer Chiefs, even though I know Kaizer Chiefs, they want me. Because he could have easily refused and say, no, Skukuna guys, I want to go to Kaizer Chiefs. It doesn't matter what you guys want, I want what I want. But he decided, no, I'm going to go to Esperanza, which is something that obviously a lot of us were heartbroken about, but it happened. And then now we have a player like Umakabi Lepo. So for me, what I think is that Umchita probably is playing for Esperanza, and things are not as smooth as he thought Zobaranjalo. And then now that's why he's talking this way, because come on, Buffett, you cannot leave the PSL and then also often PSL. Doesn't make sense unless you have something big in mind, bigger plans. So for me, I don't think Umchita who will be playing for the team, the jersey, but he will be playing for his own selfish reasons in terms of him. If ever we were to bring him to National Bafetu, I'm not saying that he's a bad player. Please listen to me carefully. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a great player. Dope. But to be honest, I think I would prefer for him to stay wherever he is rather than to come join Naturena, because most of the time, players like this who bagcina was cost. They end up costing us. You look at them, they are playing, but they're not playing to their heart's content because of our situations are not allowed. So for me, if you say, just like Cabo Fawas Pasadine, if you say no, I want to play for Kaizer Chiefs, do whatever necessary so that you can be able to go and play for the club, unless it's something that is out of your hands, rather than to decide, I'm going. So if you look at even players like Austin, to be honest with you guys, did not want to leave and go for and play for another team, but because of the situation, he was being forced to leave and sign for a different team. But unfortunately, it did not happen. It did not happen, and it's something we might be able to get to Austin this transfer window. We might even get to sign Faisal Salom, we might even get to sign Fawas Basadine. Those players, you can tell, those two players, you can tell they are committed, in coming to play for one of the biggest teams in Africa. And speaking of that, I think recently they've just released, a transfer budget for Kaizer Chiefs. It looks like they say the transfer budget is now at 80 million. So I don't know whether it's from that 50 million or 60 million they talked about, and then it's increasing to 80 million, because for me, when I try to do my fair checks, I do not have proper information. This is just information coming from Iladuma, which for me, I will never trust Iladuma Bafetu, but sometimes I know they can be always sometimes on point, but sometimes they are not. So that's why I need fair checking before I can say for sure, this is it, this is right, it's like legit information. So I hear from 50 to 80 million. It's a lot, but for you, definitely we can be able to sign a few players. I'm not saying all of them, because it takes time to be able to sign more players because of the situation and things that we always face. But to be honest with you, Bafetu, if ever this is true, I think Naranjani, at least 3-4 players sizowathola, because Kumbule, we are interested in signing a lot of players. I even told you guys who Kaizer Chiefs are pushing to make sure they try by all means to sign Faisal Salom this transfer window. And then we talked about Weston Mayele, even the availability of him becoming available, and then you guys said no, maybe we can give him at least 1 year with a contract extension or an option to extend. So it's born with Naye, what can he give to us? Because since we're building, it might help because of his experience and everything. But in Kumbule Wafeto, this player, I don't think he will come cheap. That is another problem that we have to face. I don't think he's going to come cheap. So we're going to have to rely mostly on whether things do go our way or not. But in terms of Imali, Wafeto, yes, I mean, I'm a budget. On that budget they talked about so far, the only amount I can talk about or accommodate to is for a few players. We signed about let's just say the budget for the whole season. Let's say for the whole season, we signed Inaso Miguel at around 4 million. He was not expensive. Around 4 million. We signed Inaso Miguel, and then we signed a player for 7 meter, I think 6 or 7 meter. That was Russian totally. We signed Ntwari. I'm not too sure about his amount. And then we signed, who else did we sign? Keston Sereno was a free transfer. We signed who? A lot of our players are free transfers, but to even our no, we just signed them and they are a free transfer. So that amount doesn't even come close, but to 50 million. So definitely this shows you it's not too reliable. So that's why I have to wait for proper information. This is what I do on this channel. I give you guys proper information in terms of everything that is happening. So those, are the things that are happening. Those are the things that are happening. And also we do have, I think, Opule Modi. I do have his message here or something that he believes in terms of tomorrow's game, because tomorrow we are playing Bafetu against the Golden Arrows. This card is still the same time. Nothing has changed in terms of that. And according to Opule Modi Bafetu, which young player he's a great player, but he's doing his best, but I think he needs to do more, because I know he's capable of doing more. So he says Golden Arrows is a good team, and with their new coach, they will likely have a different approach. However, we are focused on our own game plan, and we are confident that we can get a result. we are aware that the league is entering its final stretch and we need to be consistent in our performances. We are confident that we can make a strong finish to the season. Let's hope so. Mina, I don't want to go to our trap swabble. I'm just going to wait and see how the boys are going to perform, because, you know, whenever we hype them and give them that oomph, they end up doing something wrong, which is something that we know for sure. We do know. And I'm happy today Mamelodi Sundowns is playing with this Mokwana United. I just want to see the results by Fatu, and then later on results. I think I'm gonna give you the lineup for tomorrow's game, lineup prediction. Probably we're gonna do a live stream and then we talk about that. But for now, those are the updates or things I wanted you to know about, especially about Elias Mokwana and then also the message from Modi. And then we talked about this budget, supposed budget for KZ Chiefs, which is around 80 million for just transfers. And they say they want to sign a goalkeeper and but perfect for me. I think I do not want to give you guys, you know, false hope and then I take Exasa. For me, it's all about fact and good quality information I can rely on.